Understanding the 3 layers of searchers. And now in this section, you will learn how people search for solutions on Google search, the 3 layers of searches people do before purchasing, which layer has the most traffic, also which layer has the most competition, and the answer you really want to know, which layer or layers should you target first. Now, how people search. You got to remember, when people search the internet, they have this problem solution mentality. They typically type something in Google, asking Google to solve a certain problem and want to know certain solutions to their problem. Now, upon researching, they further define it and understand it. Then they can feel comfortable moving towards looking for solutions to solve that problem, or a category of solutions to solve that problem. Now, they learn this a little bit along the way. Obviously, they're seeing advertising or suggestions along the way, but a lot of times they're just not quite ready just yet. Now, again, some of these people could start here and end up buying very, very quickly, but typically they start here, they don't understand, they want to gather more information about the problem, then they move on. Now, once they settle in on the category, then they start comparing solutions head-to-head or competitors head-to-head before they make a decision. Now, the 3 types of searches and the 3 types of searchers we're going to go through in detail. I call them the browser, which is this first layer, the solver, which is the second layer, and the reviewer, which is the third layer. Now let's talk about the first layer, the browser. Houston, we have a problem, because that is exactly how they start. At the beginning of their search pattern, they usually know they have a problem that needs fixed. They may not understand a lot about it. They may not understand a lot about the solutions, or maybe they have a little bit of knowledge and they want to start at the very beginning anyway. But these people are browsing the internet, just trying to gather information so they can even understand what's going on with them, or more about the problem, or more about the problem solution, or whatever. But they're typically browsing the internet, and they could sometimes spend hours or days in this particular phase. Oftentimes, the problem is even undefined and vague. They might use keywords like back pain, which is very broad. You know, what does that mean? Lower back pain, upper back pain, mid back pain, spinal pain, muscle pain, shoulder pain, shooting pain, centralized pain. I mean, it just doesn't really define what's going on with them, because they don't really understand themselves. These keywords tend to be short tail. Now, here's some examples. I like fishing, so I'm going to use that as an example. Someone might type in bait cast reel. Very broad. What do they even mean? Are they looking for a bait cast reel? Or they want to know how to throw a bait casting reel? Do they just want to know what it is? I mean, it's so broad and generic. No one really knows what that means. If you're looking for a home business, they might type in home businesses. Or if they're in health and wellness, they might type in back pain. So you can see they're very short tail, very generic, not very well defined. Other characteristics of the browser are these types of keywords that they're typing in. Usually you only see big and untargeted competitors on these keywords. Usually you'll see like these really big name brand companies. They're using broad match keywords to show up in these areas. The ads usually aren't even relevant, but they're there, and it's very loosely related, if at all. These type of keywords have a very low conversion rate, and they have high CPC. Sometimes they have low CPC if it's so generic nobody wants the keyword. But typically they have a high CPC and a very low conversion rate because people just aren't ready to buy. They typically aren't. There is massive volume here though, because they're short tail and they're generic. They are related to everything, and there's just massive volume. Sometimes you can see volume similar to the display network. It's so much out there, and you see very low CTR, click-through rate. which can affect your quality scores, which is why people on these keywords tend to have low quality scores, because it's just related to everything. You don't know what people are looking for here. It could be students doing a research paper. I mean, just so unrelated. People tend to have to go through multiple pages of Google results to more define their problem. Now the second layer, the solver. Now the reason why I call them the solver is these are like the how-to people. They're more educated about their problem, at least enough to seek a solution that's more definable. They have more how-to language sometimes in these searches or these keyword sets, or their words are more targeted to the problem, more defined. They kind of really narrow it down because they want to make sure they ask questions to Google that's going to give them a solution. They tend to be long tail keywords though. They tend to be long tail unless the solution in and of itself is short tail. But when people say target long tail, what they're really talking about is targeting the solution finder. Someone's looking for solution keywords. That's really what they mean. This is where the searcher tends to find and learn about products that solve their problem, that work for their problem. I mean, if they haven't seen them on TV or anything, they tend to find these people here. Other characteristics about the solver layer, the searcher and the keywords. They're buyers, quite frankly, but they need the right solution to buy. But they're buyers, right? They still do some homework, but they actually will buy if they like your solution. They tend to ask questions in multiple ways to make sure the best solutions are pulling up in the Google results. So this person will tend to repeat their search a couple of times, different ways they massage it. They rarely go to the second page of results. They will, but they rarely do. They just redefine the question. If the first question to Google didn't quite get them the solution, they'll redefine it and kick it back out there. Or they'll find some potential solution categories, which makes them do another search deeper within that category for solutions. There are just tons of competitors here. Why? Because this is where the money is. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows the money is here. They go right here. Okay. If someone types in how to start a home business or something, I mean, they're just going to be right there, right in the mix. Because they know these people are, if they provide the right solution, they're ready to go, they'll buy or they'll hire you or whatever the case may be. Because there's so much competition, it has the highest CPC cost of all right, due to bidding up by competitors because there's so much revenue here. But there's money to be made. So, if you could figure out how to make money here, you're going to be all over these keywords. There's a mid to low CTR, which creates a very large range of quality scores, which you'll learn about within the solver category of keywords and searches. Here's some examples. Keeping with the phishing theme, top rated bait casters. Obviously now they're moving more towards into a solution. They want to see what's out there that's the best to buy. How to cast a bait casting reel. There's the how-to coming into it. Home business, how to start a home business. Top rated home businesses. How to start an internet business. Best home businesses to start. These people are raring to go if they get the answer they want. Health and wellness, best over-the-counter back pain meds. See, it's much more defined now. Back pain medication. How to stretch to relieve back pain. Much better. Maybe talk about lower back pain, shoulder pain, shooting pain. They get a lot more defined in this category. The reviewer. I love the reviewer. Their mindset is typically, I want to make the right decision before I buy. Right. These are people, they've went through the process. They've went through the first layer. They've went through the second layer. Now they defined and identified their top products to buy, but they're doing their last minute research to make sure they're making the right choice. They tend to type in short to medium long keywords, just depending on what they're looking for to help them get to that decision. But they got them. They got this company, or this company, or this product, and this product. The keywords they type in tend to focus around their buying decision, whether it's going right to the website to buy, or they want to get a review. You know, reviews take the highest priority with these people. They tend to type in the product name and review, the company name and review, the service and review, and they usually consume reviews and go through them with a comb, just trying to get a feel for what they're buying, so they can make an adequate decision. Other characteristics of the reviewer search layer: these keywords tend to be cheap. Okay, why? Well, there's less competition by far on these keywords. They have the absolute highest buying percentage of all search types in any layer. They also have the highest recorded CTRs on the network. However, they have low search volume, very low search volume, and you tend to only have two ranges of quality scores. Either it's high or it's low. I mean, there's nothing in between. Either you're 7 and above, 8, 9, 10 out of 10, or you're 1, 2, or 3 out of 10. I mean, it's very defined. And these people, they never go to page 2. It ain't happening. They're not scrolling to page 2. All right, because they really understand what they're looking for at this point. Here's some examples. In the fishing world, an Apex baitcaster review. The pros and cons of an Apex baitcaster. You can see they're typing in the website name. They might type in Amazon Apex baitcasters. These people really know what they're looking for. In the home business, they might type in things like the network marketing company, or a network marketing company versus another one. Or if they're in health and wellness, really drilling down to the company name as aspirin, or one company versus another one. I mean, these people really are down at the very bottom of the buying funnel, where they're doing their last ditch stuff before they actually purchase. Now, which layer should you target first? Let me tell you something. Should be a surprise after reviewing this. You start with the reviewer. This is where many people go wrong. You start where you have the highest conversion rate. Have you ever heard the term get rich in a niche? Well, I call that micro niche advertising. That's what you can do with the reviewer. You micro niche advertise. It has the lowest CPC cost, the highest conversion rate. It has extremely low competition, which also helps you stay under the radar for longer. Listen, the longer it takes for competitors to realize you're out there making a killing, the more you have the market to yourself. The less legal stuff you go through. I mean, there's a lot of advantages here that you can grow a business and make a lot of money at. You know, you go right to where that searcher or that keyword, those people have the credit card in hand. They're right at the bottom of the buying decision. They're right there. And you want to make sure you intervene right there and peel off some of those people to buy you instead of someone else. You only need a small budget because everything's so cheap. You can have a small budget and really build a large business here. And while you're growing and you create a stable business here, then and only then you can move to the second layer where the solvers are at, where the big volume of revenue is at. There's more competition there, but you're going to be entering the market with a very well-defined funnel, a name to go with you. You're going to have a war chest to go with you so you can deal with the higher conversion costs. And you're going to make up the difference in volume. Even though your profit margins shrink, you'll have the volume and you'll have an advantage they don't have. You would have been able to test and refine where they have to deal with very little testing because it's so expensive to play there. You'll be at a big advantage. So start with the reviewer. That's where all of you need to go on the search network. Now, not everything is peaches and roses doing micro niche advertising. It just isn't. I wish it was. For every yin, there's a yang. On Google AdWords, you're going to have to really deal with this trademark issue. Google has a rule. If they've registered their trademark with them, then you just simply can't put it in your ads. that is going to hurt your conversion rate and your overall cost and ability to advertise in micro niche advertising. There's low volume here. You need a lot of micro niche targets. So you're going to be far more active in adding stuff than other people have to do that target the solver. You know, there's less campaigns they need. You're going to need a lot more campaigns and ad groups to make up for the low volume. And there's going to be this issue of quality score, which you'll learn about, which really affects your cost of advertising or ability to advertise for that matter. Either it's going to be super high, or if you can use a trademark, or it's going to be in the tank if you can't. It's this either or proposition. And companies complain a lot. If you're sitting there peeling off their purchases, they're not just going to sit by and let you do this. They're going to try to stop you. Obviously, you would too. So you get a lot of complaints from companies. You're going to have to deal with this if you decide to do micro niche advertising. And you need a very targeted funnel for each micro niche you go after. So your design team, coding team, copywriting team, ad creative team, they're going to be very busy. You're going to have to pay them. You know, you got to pay them, or if you're doing it yourself, you're going to be doing a lot of this stuff, because you just can't willy-nilly into that micro niche and not be targeted. Remember, they've went through all of the hubbub before then. They're rearing and ready to go. You can't just come over there with nothing good and steal them away. They're not going to throw away all that research just because you appeared. You're going to have a very good targeted funnel that that solves their problem better than what they were about to do. So that's another negative. But all in all, even with these cons, even with everything you see here that looks like quite a deterrent, it is still the very best place to start your search network marketing career.